15th round draft pick from Florida State years ago, a walk-on in college. He leads the team in tackles by a wide margin. He is not big or fast, but he's a good tackler.
Yeah, he says, I'm not a glamorous type of player, but I just seem to get the job done. He said, I shut down tight ends quite often. They don't catch very many touchdown passes on me, just a couple in the last 2 years. He said, I get a lot of respect. I get to stay in there on the nickel and the dime, so I must be doing my job.
Yeah, I guess if you were not a good pass defender, you wouldn't be in there in the nickel. He is now 3rd down and 10 at the 24. In motion is Mike Quick. And Jaworski going up the middle, and hit immediately is Michael Quick, and he makes the catch and a first down at the 36-yard line for the Eagles, and Cedric Mack makes the tackle for St. Louis.
Great concentration here by Quick, because he was hit pretty hard just as the ball get there. But watch what he does. He said, the best thing I do is I do something with the ball after I get it. And he almost broke this right here.
He is the only player named to the Pro Bowl for the Eagles, and he will be a starting wide receiver. And that is his first reception. He needs one to tie Harold Carmichael's Philadelphia Eagle record set 10 years ago. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Cardinals showing blitz, and here they come. Jaworski gets it away and overthrows his man. He was intended to throw to Quick, and covering on the play was Lionel Washington. And they were really coming in on Jaws there.
They really were here. We wanted to mention Ron Jaworski, and we mentioned about having your mind on other things. That was E.J. Jr. right there on a blitz, and Jaws had to release, but Jaworski and his wife had a very happy occurrence this week, Dick.
That's right. His wife Liz gave birth to a boy, William, and Liz is going home from the hospital today, and I'm sure Ron can't wait till he gets home to see the young man.
That's what he said. 2 daughters, and this is their first son. Our congratulations to them boys.
Jaworski is 2 for 7 for 14 yards, 1 interception. 2nd and 10 now. Drills it up the middle. Carmichael. And I believe it's either intercepted or caught. And let's see what they rule. We'll wait and see till the officials tell us.
Looks like a tie, and that goes offense.
It was caught by Harold Carmichael. Charlie Baker made the hit, and a fine catch by the 34-year-old veteran. Carmichael, whose production is down, but Marion Campbell told us yesterday he feels that Carmichael still has value to the team.
Yes, he does, and just look how much he's helped Mike Quick. That was one of the things that Mike Quick talked about yesterday, is how much number 17 has helped him over the course of the past 2 years. Little techniques on running pass patterns and telling him about the defensive backs and their tendencies. That was a
17-yard pickup for Carmichael. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. The Eagles moving the ball and trailing. And that pass intended for Lawrence Sampleton, the tight end, and knocked away. Kurt Allerman, the middle linebacker, was there on the play. The Eagles really don't know what Lawrence Sampleton can do. He's in his 2nd year out of Texas, and with Vito Cav out with injury, he's making his 2nd start. He has caught only 1 pass this year.
Well, he was really a projection draft choice for him. Last year, they knew that he had great ability and good size, and figured that he developed somewhere down the line. But because of the injuries, he's in there right now. He missed 9 games himself this year, the first 9.
2nd down and 10 at the 47. 3:35 remaining. We're in the first quarter. The Cardinals lead 7-0. Icy, snowy, and cold. Jaworski to Carmichael, and he holds on to it. And Carmichael is inside the 30, close to the 25. So the veteran, Harold Carmichael, in light of all of the hoopla given to Michael Quick, who's gone to the Pro Bowl, has made 2 very tough catches today.
Great catch, too. Now, Wayne Smith, number 44, the cornerback, goes for the ball right here. I think he thinks he's going to get an interception, but he gets a late start because he slipped, and then Harold reached out, one hand, pulled it in. We talked about still having value. That was a great play right there.
Lee Nelson and Benny Perrin make the stop, but a 22-yard gain. 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 26. Hubie Oliver. And Charlie Baker whistles him down at about the 20-yard line. So Charlie Baker, the outside linebacker. Hubie Oliver having a solid year after being out all of last season with an injury.
Good steady player. and has caught a lot of passes coming out of the backfield this year. He's caught 44 balls. That was about the best cut we've seen all day that he made right there at the line of scrimmage. So he knows something about playing in this kind of weather. He's got some good shoes on.
Well, the Eagles haven't rushed for many touchdowns this year. They'll take him any way they can get him today, that's for sure. Second and 2.
Without Wilbert Montgomery, it's been tough for him all year long.
At the 18. Oliver hit and is stopped. Mark Duda and Curtis Greer, but Duda was the first to get to him out of the University of Maryland, a 4th-round draft choice, a real tough guy who's still learning the pass rush techniques, but against the run, he's pretty tough.
Good against the run, they said. You know, look at him right there. He's 6'3", 265 pounds. His mom is 5'1", his dad's 5'10". He says, I don't know where they got me.
Now that's Curtis Greer, who along with Duda made the play. 3rd down and 2 at the 18. Minute and a half remaining in the first quarter. Michael Haddix stopped on 3rd and short by Kurt Alleman, middle linebacker, and a big play for the former Penn State linebacker.
Alleman is number 51. He's just out of the picture right now, to the left of the screen, but he reads, comes up and closes, makes the hit on Michael Haddix. And I think you'll see Michael Haddix next year for the Philadelphia Eagles, Dick, moving over to the fullback spot.
Well, here's an oddity. Tony Franklin is actually wearing a shoe as he tries a field goal here. It appears to be a 38-yard attempt. He is 15 of 25 for the year. Ron Jaworski is holding with 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Nearly blocked, and this kick is just under the goalpost with a crossbar. The kick is no good.
Franklin had it on the money right here, as you'll see, but because of the slippery turf, you can't get the momentum and the push off of that left leg that you need to get the power behind it, so it was short.
And Leonard Smith, the 1st-round draft pick of the Cardinals, nearly got a piece of it. It didn't matter. St. Louis still leads. That's how much time remains in the first quarter. The Cardinals lead 7-0, and they have the ball on their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Neil Lomax 3 of 5 for 19 yards passing. Almost intercepted by Roydell Young, and he would have been in for the easy score. Roy Green, the intended receiver, and Roydell Young just cut right in front of him.
Tremendous read that time by Roydell Young. He knew exactly what Lomax was going to do. He was reading his head and eyes. Lomax went right over here to these 2 receivers. Watch number 43 step in, get both hands on the ball, and he'd have been in for 6 points had he been able to hold on. Lomax played stare down with the receivers that time.
2nd down and 10. Green in motion, and here's Otis Anderson. Gets a couple testing the left side of the line out to about the 22-yard line. Anthony Griggs, the right inside linebacker, makes the stop on Otis Anderson, and that should be the last play of the first quarter. Otis Anderson, by the way, having the best year of his career as a receiver.
And Dick, he's made it known around here too in St. Louis that he's not extremely happy here. Wouldn't mind if he'd be traded, or even mention that other league prospect.
That's the end of the first quarter here at Busch Memorial Stadium as the snow continues to fall. The score, the Cardinals 7, the Eagles nothing, and we'll be back. We begin the second quarter here in St. Louis. Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker reporting. The Cardinals lead 7-0. I think it's gotten a little much warmer now. I think it's minus 18 wind chill instead of the 19.
Right. And I also think you're losing your mind if you think it's warmer.
That can happen. It'll be 3rd and 7 at the 23 for Neil Lomax. And anytime we have a delay, and we're of course really happy to be here on this final Sunday of the season to see 2 teams that really want to play hard and win, and that's, you know, not just a cliche.
No, it's really true, Dick. In Detroit over the years, I was in a lot of these situations where the weather would be bad and the last game of the year didn't mean anything, but you know, it is your job, and if you have respect for your teammates and self-respect and for your coach, you put out, and these guys are doing that. They might not play well today, but they'll be playing hard.
Ray Ellis is into the game, number 24, as a nickel back. He's had a hip pointer. Wasn't expected to play. On 3rd and 7, Lomax, and it's tipped in the air by the big guy Dennis Harrison in his 6th year, who made the Pro Bowl last season. Won't be going to the Pro Bowl this year, but had a terrific season nonetheless.
Yes, he did. He just continued that Pro Bowl season he had. He's over the middle right here, and he bull rushes, gets a little penetration, and gets his hand up at the appropriate time. 11 sacks for him this season. That's a career high.
And that 6'8" comes in handy on plays like that. So it's 4th down. Glenn Young is back for the Eagles, and Birdsong punting for the 2nd time. He got off a 42-yarder in his first attempt. And gets away from him. And he just gets rid of it. And the ball bounds toward midfield and goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line. I suspect we're going to see a lot of plays like that today, Wayne.
No question at all. There's a guy right there that's going to the Pro Bowl. He's the Pro Bowl punter, and you know he's real happy that this kick didn't go on his stats before they selected the Pro Bowl. Bad snap from center by Carlos Scott, number 1. It was low and off to the right, but no one could get back there because of the snow anyway. So he picked it up and kind of side-wheeled it over here and did a pretty good job with it. But he's going to be in Hawaii playing his next football game. He's going to like that better than this.
For sure. Wayne Walker was talking about Hawaii. Well, Mike Quick will start, and Roy Green and Carl Birdsong will all be there. The NFC Pro Bowl selection from the teams today. Meanwhile, the Eagles have a 1st and 10 on the Cardinal 43, trailing 7-0 early here in the 2nd quarter. Ron Jaworski back at midfield, and he loops it to Hubie Oliver. Oliver trying to get away and does. 1st down, Philadelphia, as Hubie Oliver carries it to the 31-yard line. Tackle made by the right quarterback, Wayne Smith.
Yeah, the quarterback's about the only guy out there that can't be wearing gloves, Dick. So Jaworski and Lomax are bare skinning it out there. Right here, a good job up front. He's got plenty of time. Out to Hubie Oliver. Now watch Lee Nelson and him come up and play stare down with each other right here. About 3 jukes. Who's going to win that one? Oliver won it and got some extra yardage.
1st and 10 at the 31 now. Carmichael on a quick look in, and he'll take it. A 6-yard gain to the 25-yard line, and once again Wayne Smith is right there.
It really is funny to look down there and see the game being played so slow, though, isn't it? I mean, you know, that cut and that slant in that Carmichael ran in would be looking like if you're looking at grade school speed.
A safety for the Rams, and New Orleans lead is now 7-2 in the 2nd quarter at the Superdome.
Loser is out in that one, folks.
Right here at 2nd and 4 at the 25. Mike Quick. Jaworski getting pressure, and down he goes. Curtis Greer, the fastest, quickest, and strongest defensive lineman on the team out of the University of Michigan, a former #1 pick, and he came in untouched.
He will come from the left side, and E.J. Jr. from the right side of your screen on a blitz right here. Cardinals don't blitz much, but they've been about 70% effective when they have. That doesn't not only mean making a sack, but it means get back there and pressuring the quarterback. But Greer from the outside with the sack, and you see 54 right behind him.
E.J. Jr. forced to move to outside linebacker with the injury to the very impressive rookie Bob Harris. Expect E.J. Jr. to be in the middle next year. 6 defensive backs, Cedric Mack and Leonard Smith in there for the Cardinals. 3rd and 12. Jaworski swings it out to Oliver. And Jr. was the first to get over there, and the last to get over there was Cedric Mack, knocking Oliver out of bounds. It is shy of a 1st down.
The Cardinals really feel that E.J. Jr. is perhaps their best athlete on defense. Maybe Curtis Greer, but Jr. playing the outside linebacker. They figure if they can find an outside linebacker, and they may have one here, a kid that was injured earlier, but if they move him to the middle, then he can go sideline to sideline, and that's really what he wants to do also. He wants to move into the middle.
He says they can't run away from you when you're playing middle linebacker. 4th and 7. And at the 28-yard line, the way the kicking game is going today, we saw the snap the punch to miss field goals. They're going to go for it. Not a bad idea. Jaworski going from Michael Haddix, and Lee Nelson was defending on the play, and once again pressure. Stafford Mays was coming in as the extra pass rusher. So is Al Bubba Baker, and the Cardinals will take over on downs with 12 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the second quarter. You know, in all fairness, it is awfully cold up here, and our feet are freezing. We have heaters that don't work too well, but we love it here.
Well, I figured the players got to be outside. We should be too. It's the only way to stay in the game with it.
We're standing on cardboard here. Anything that'll help us out. But you know, I've been in colder weather, and so have you. We just don't remember when. First and 10 at the 28-yard line, and Otis Anderson gets to the 32-yard line, where he is hit by Dennis Harrison. 7-0, the Cardinals lead. They have some heaters down on the sidelines. I think they could spare one. Yeah,
we had a guy once, we used to have capes in Detroit that you put over in cold weather and get close to those burners, and we had one of our players get so close that his cape caught on fire one time. We had to roll him around at a snowbank to get it out.
7 from 7 carries for 48 yards for Otis Anderson. Second down and 5 for the Cardinals. And it appears the Cardinals have recovered. Loman was right there. Jerry Robinson had a shot at the ball.
Well, we mentioned E.J. Jr., maybe the best athlete on St. Louis's defense. Jerry Robinson is the same kind of guy for Philadelphia. They moved him from the outside back to the middle last year, and he's responded with 2 excellent years, and he can go sideline to sideline, and that's the reason they did that. They don't want people running away from him. They want him in on every play.
So Lomax goes to the shotgun at 3rd and 6 at the 32-yard line. 11:15 to go, second quarter. 3 wide receivers for St. Louis, and Lomax has a lot of time, and Otis Anderson was hit immediately by Jerry Robinson, and it'll go as an incompleted pass and 4th down.
You know, Jerry Robinson told us, you know, when this season's over and all the guys sit around and think about it, they're really going to be mad at themselves because we were so close to winning a lot of games. They started out 4-2, and then they lost some ball games, but he said basically, you know, they're playing the same kind of brand of football in the games that they lost. They won games close early, but lost some close games later on, and he said it was just one big play a game that hurt him.
Carl Birdsong. He got the ball away, and there it is. Another snap he has to hustle for. Gets off a pretty good kick that floats. Glenn Young gets out of the way, and it's down by the Cardinals at the 26-yard line by Bill Whitaker. So Birdsong really recovered well and got off to a good kick, and we have a timeout. That's the story here in St. Louis. 7-0, the Cardinals lead the Eagles in an important AFC game. The Cleveland Browns lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 16-3 in the second quarter. The Steelers have already wrapped up the AFC Central title, but the Browns can get into the wild card. They need some help, though.
Yeah, they need a win, and they need Seattle and Buffalo losses, so it's slim for them, but they do have a chance.
The man on the machine is the busiest guy so far today, keeping those sidelines free and clear of the snow. First and 10 for the Eagles on their 27-yard line, trailing 7-0. Jaworski turns around and sees E.J. Jr. in his face.
Great timing on the blitz. Excellent timing. Came between the guard and nickel. To the left of Jaworski on your screen. See him creeping up. Nobody picked him up. And Jaws didn't have a chance.
7.5 sacks. That's pretty good for a linebacker on a team that doesn't blitz all that much.
And for a guy that missed 4 games earlier in the year. Remember that he was suspended for the first 4 games of the regular season for his drug involvement. Paid that price and came back and responded with an excellent year.
Second down and 15 following the loss of 5 yards. Jaworski is 7 of 14 for 76 yards. One interception. Hubie Oliver. And Oliver is dragged down near the 30-yard line by E.J. Jr. again. One thing about Hubie Oliver's year, besides being the leading rusher and second leading receiver, is that he has not fumbled much. He's had good hands and doesn't give up the ball, and that's important. A lot of the Eagles tell us, though, that they can anticipate moving Michael Haddix back to the fullback position next year. Of course, Wilbert Montgomery, Michael Williams should man the halfback position, and so look for Haddix to be at fullback next season.
And they feel that he's more the fullback type than he is the slasher that you need at halfback.
3rd down and 7 at the 30. Jaworski ducks away from trouble and throws it. Tony Woodruff, the intended receiver. And Ron just wanted to get rid of it in a hurry, and good pressure from Curtis Greer and Stafford Meade.
St. Louis always has line stunts going on. Watch them loop and twist here. They get pressure, they get penetration, they keep pumping. You don't have to get to the quarterback to create problems back there. If you get in the passing lanes, put your arms up, have him throw around you, you've done a job.
Lloyd Peters has done a terrific job with this defense, and they've got a young secondary. Tom Bettis has done the work there. They're going to get better and better. Max Runeker with his second kick coming up. Stump Mitchell looking for the return. Mitchell's going to run it back. Still on his feet. And Mitchell is down at the 41-42 yard line. So the Cardinals take over again. The only touchdown in the game, a 14-yard scamper by Otis Anderson in the first quarter. Timeout here. Now, how do we know that's Marion Campbell, the head coach, Wayne?
Well, I was going to say because he has a white ball on his stocking hat. But that might be a key for the guys out on the field when they look over to get the defensive signal, because everybody's dressed in green.
He doesn't wear that in training camp, does he?
I don't think so.
1st and 10 at the 42. Lomax looking deep, pumps and hits his man. Roy Green dives forward. He has the first down in Eagle territory. Jerry Robinson makes the tackle.
Roy Green with great speed. They called him Jetstream Green when he came back to training camp this year. He ran a 4.2940, and that's just about as good as anybody in the league is going to get it. He certainly can't do that out there today, but you saw how they still respect his speed and gave him a big cushion over there. That was Roynell Young, number 43, playing him loose.
And that's his second catch and one more, and he passes Bobby Joe Conrad as the all-time Cardinal receiving leader. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line, and Otis Anderson can't go outside and can't move anywhere, and Greg Brown puts him down in a hurry. Roy Green, 2 catches and 17 yards to tie the mark. And Jim Hanifin, he said when the key happened this year, when things weren't going well and the team did not point fingers at one another, he says that's the kind of thing that could kill a club, and it didn't happen here in St. Louis.
He said we had a meeting and we talked. He said, and we were all at fault. Players, coaches, all of us were at fault. So he said, no fun. Let's just get it turned around, and they did.
That's when they were 1-5. Right now they're 7-7-1 and leading here. 2nd down and 9 at the Eagle 45. Lomax going up on top to Roy Green, and it's overthrown. Roynell Young defending on the play. So Lomax was going for the downs on that one.
Well, we mentioned player so before that Roynell Young playing with a little cushion, respecting his speed, and he did it right here. Same way. He knows that sooner or later they're going to try to get it deep to number 81. And he was in good shape on him back there, playing that quarter of the field that's deep in his zone. You always want to stay as deep as the deepest receiver, and Young did it.
3rd down and 9 for the Cardinals. They got a turnover on Lionel Washington's 7th interception of the year and converted it into an Otis Anderson touchdown, and that's been the only scoring so far. Lomax has time, and he drills this one intended for Pat Tilley. And Tilley took quite a lick from
shotgun. Lomax will go deep. Now this is a late hit, but I don't think it was intentional by Ray Ellis. It's hard to pull up down there, this kind of turf. Tilly wasn't going to be able to stop either was Ellis, so Ellis said, well, we might as well deliver a little shoulder because we are going to have a collision.
And Birdsong will punt, and Glenn Young is back at the 10-yard line with 7:34 remaining in the first half. Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker. Birdsong, short kick, and it will be down at the 23-yard line or thereabouts by Bill Whitaker. Timeout, 7:25 to go in the second quarter. It's still 7-0. Eagles ball, 1st and 10 on their 23. We have had only one turnover in the game. Interception by Lionel Washington in St. Louis. Jaworski brings the team along here. Going to the air on 1st down. And his receiver fell down, so they had no chance at all. Carmichael, the intended receiver, and Wayne Smith defending. Green Bay against Chicago. They're tied 7-7 in the second quarter. Of course, the Packers need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. And of course, Lions play Tampa Bay later on CBS. And of course, if the Packers don't win that game, the Lions will clinch the Central Division title.
Packers scoreboard watching because they could use a New Orleans loss also.
2nd and 10, 23-yard line. Playoff picture becoming more and more focused. Yesterday, the Redskins beat the Giants 31-22 to clinch the NFC East title. This pass is caught by Sambleton, the tight end, and Charlie Baker, the outside linebacker, makes the tackle. Updating Pittsburgh and Cleveland now. Steelers have come back a bit, and the Browns still lead it 16-10, second quarter.
We mentioned to you here, Cleveland still alive in playoff contention, but barely. They need a win, and they need Seattle and Buffalo losses.
Actually, Denver has already wrapped up one wild card spot in the AFC, and Seattle and New England play later on, and those teams are in the best position of nailing down the second wild card position. 3rd down and 1 at the 32-yard line for Ron Jaworski. And Williams into the line, may not have made it. Michael Williams stepping gingerly into the line. Mark Duda, who's playing against the run, help from Curtis Greer on the play. Let's see where they spot the ball. The Cardinals are signaling that it is 4th down, and that is indeed what it is. And Max Runeker is going to come on, presumably to punt for the Eagles.
You'd almost have to say that the defensive line dug in, but look at those feet slipping out from behind them right there. Just a battle right there of who can get the lowest and keep the best leverage, and that time it was the Cardinal defensive front, because you can't dig in on a day like today.
It really wasn't even that close. He missed it by a good yard, and so Runeker will kick it away, and Stump Mitchell is back. Expect the Eagles will be looking closely at their own punt and kickoff return picture next season and their own kicking situation. Falling down is Runeker after the kick, and he gets off a good one in this game conditions, and it drops, and it is down around the 40-yard line. At the 40-yard line. How tough is it to kick in the snow? Let Max Runeker show you.
This guy made a great comeback this year, though. He lost his job earlier in the year. He was waived. Tom Skladany was signed. Skladany kicked himself out of the job, and Runeker came back and has averaged over 42 yards since.
Well, Christmas Day on CBS Sports begins with the 46th annual Blue-Gray game, and you'll see some of the nation's top seniors, including quarterbacks Boomer Esiason and Tom Tunnicliffe, take part. And then I'll be much warmer, Madison Square Garden, for our NBA game between the New Jersey Nets and the New York Knicks.
You and Tom Heinsohn will be more comfortable than we are today. I know that.
That's coming up Christmas Day on CBS. Otis Anderson with a blocker outside, and Anderson is acting as if there is no snow at all in this kind of game, and picks up a good 7 or 8 yards before Robinson and Logan make the tackle. And a good block up front by Carlos Scott.
That's right. Here's a guy, O.J. Anderson, that played his college ball down in Florida, running in this kind of weather, and he's been able to get a burst and change directions better than anyone else out there. Scored on a 14-yard run and got some help on that run.
Terry Steve. 2nd and 2 at the 43-yard line, winding down to 5 minutes to go in the first half. Here's Otis Anderson. Otis Anderson is a first down, and that may be the best hard charging run of the game, and a 1st and 10 at the 47 of Philadelphia.
Right behind the big tackle, Tootie Robbins, over on the right side that time. Randy Love is the lead back, number 40. He gets a block on the linebacker, and once again Anderson shows that with that skating kind of running technique that he has, he's in pretty good shape out there.
His best game as far as carries was concerned against the Eagles earlier this year when he carried 29 times. He has now carried 10 times in this game for 65 yards. 1st and 10 at the 48, and gets the call again. And it takes 4 Eagles to slow him up, and they never do bring him down. And they're going to mark it at the 47-yard line, so maybe a gain of a yard, that's all. Ken Clark will get credit for the tackle with help from Jerry Robinson. It'll be a long 8 now at the 47. Neil Lomax, 4th in the NFC in passing, and admitted to us, he says, you know, it's not quite awestruck, but to see his name up there with Theismann and Montana and Dickey meant a lot to him.
So it was exciting to look at the ratings every week and see his name up there with those guys.
He deserves it. Lomax, screen pass to Otis Anderson. And Anderson ridden out of bounds at about the 45. Joe Bostic was blocking for him, and Roynell Young was in on the play. We want to remind you that this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals and the National Football League is prohibited. So we're facing a 3rd now and 5 for the Cardinals at the 44-yard line. 3:39 remaining in the first half. Cardinals 7, Eagles nothing. Trouble, and he was in the grass, as they say, and Byron Darby getting a chance to play as Marion Campbell, using all the defensive linemen, gets credit for the sack.
Darby, the rookie from USC, coming in and getting this sack. It's number 94. Lomax looks downfield, good coverage downfield that time by the secondary, and then for that long it just all broke down on him. And there's number 94. Number 5 draft choice for the Eagles this year. Also played some linebacker when he was in college, but he's bulked up now for the defensive line.
Birdsong for his 5th punt of the game. Glenn Young, deep for Philadelphia. And it's picked up there by the Cardinals and whistled dead. Bill Whitaker picked up the loose ball, and the Cardinals are saying they should have it, and it should be Cardinal ball, and it is. It might have hit a Philadelphia player. Glenn Young was trying to get out of the way, and if it did, Bill Whitaker has it, and the Cardinals have possession. Dick Jorgensen and the officials are sorting it all out. The key question is, did it deflect off an Eagle player? We'll get the answer. And the answer is no. Philadelphia ball.
The ball did not touch the receiving team. First down.
We'll take a look right here, right now. A low kind of a line drive type kick. Look for yourself. That's Roynell Young trying to get out of the way. Tough to see from that angle. The officials thought he did. So we stay here where it's still cold and it's still 7-0.
The preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League. 3:01 remaining in the first half. Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker in St. Louis. It's 1st and 10 for the Eagles on their 20-yard line. UB Oliver and Michael Williams are the running backs. Jaworski hits Melvin Hoover with his first reception of the game. Out of bounds. Lionel Washington makes the tackle.
Melvin Hoover right here. Only 9 catches on the season for the Eagles, but 7 of those have gone for first downs. Working on the outside. Pulls it up. Look at the defensive back slip. That's just the way things are going to be all day today. It's just kind of a hope game. You know, you hope you do something and you hope the other guy slips, or you hope you don't slip. Usually games like this are decided defensively. Turnover, somebody picks up the fumble, runs it in for a touchdown. It's just that kind of weather for a game like that.
Oliver has the first down. The Rams have forged ahead of the Saints now 9-7. Keep in mind again, we'll tell you, the loser is out of playoff consideration. And a Ram win, of course, means that the 49ers have to beat the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC West title.
Rams looked like they had it locked up about 3 weeks ago. And they're slumped lately.
1st and 10 at the 33. Jaworski swings it out, and Michael Haddox almost made a terrific one-handed catch. Lee Nelson was there to make the hit on him. Haddox, of course, started the season with Wilbert Montgomery out of action, the #1 draft pick out of Mississippi State. Had some problems fumbling. Might have lost some confidence in himself. 3rd leading rusher on the ball club, and as we said, expect to see him back at fullback. So it might be a slow year for Michael Haddox, but he figures in the Eagle plans.
Yeah, he missed 5 games. Was injured. Nothing hurt the Eagles like the loss of Wilbert Montgomery, because they can just do so many things for them.
And let's not forget Joe Spagnuolo, the tight end, who was out all year on injured reserve with a neck injury. 2nd down and 10 at the 33. 2:09 remaining in the first half. Slow motion Jaworski going back, and he's going up on top, and it's intercepted again by Lionel Washington. 2nd of the game and number 8 on the year for the rookie from Tulane. What a season he has had.
Jaworski going for Tony Woodruff, who was a hero for the Eagles a couple of weeks ago in a win. But there's the rookie. And what a year he's having.
Looks like Bambi, hits like a tiger, says Floyd Peters, the defensive coach. On a late season roll is Lionel Washington, a 4th-round draft pick, 5 interceptions in his last 3. Picked one off against the Raiders last week and has the 2 interceptions in this game, the only 2 turnovers in the contest, and I'm sure that Tom Bettis loves this guy.
Yeah, you bet. You know, they drafted 2 cornerbacks ahead of him, but he came to training camp and looked better than the guys that were drafted above him. He's been the one that's been playing and performing extremely well.
So we've had our 2-minute warning now, and it's 1st and 10 at the 40. The Cardinals are in their own territory, leading 7-0. Otis Anderson lost his footing and regains it, and here he goes, 1st down into Philadelphia territory. At the 47-yard line, Reggie Wilkes makes the tackle. Wes Hopkins comes up from free safety as well.
Or is there any indication right here of the effort out there? They're getting an effort day right here from number 32 on a day when, as you can just see, the conditions are poor. We said that Jim Hannafin said that he's a tougher runner this year than he has been in the past. He's taken criticism in the past for perhaps running some to the sideline, a la Franco Harris, but he's been turning upfield this season.
He has 81 yards. That's a terrific accomplishment in the first half in this kind of weather. Lomax dancing around back there and finds a wide open Doug Marsh. And a 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Doug Marsh with his 30th reception of the year.
Composure in the pocket was one of the things that Neil Lomax told us, that he's much better now than he was last year and earlier this season. He says, I can hang back there, and now I kind of feel confident I can get it to the right man. He did it that time.
Last year, St. Louis tight ends caught only 11 passes. This year, they've caught 42. A lot more production, and of course, Lomax going to them more. That was a 24-yard gain. 1st and 10 at the 22, 1:14 showing on the clock. Cardinals with a touchdown lead, looking for more. And a bootleg. Looking is Lomax. He'll run it to the 10 and out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Neil Lomax running it, and a 1st down, and Herman Edwards knocks him out of bounds.
The Eagles losing containment over on the right side of their defense. It's usually the defensive end responsible for that. Lomax gets out there. Now watch him freeze everyone with this fake right here. And then he pulled it down and picked up some more yardage.
And the Cardinals have a 1st and goal at the 7-yard line, leading 7-0, trying to get in again with 1:06 remaining, and all of the timeouts for both teams intact. Mike Schumann comes into the ballgame, number 84. Otis Anderson. He's going to be trapped. Ken Clark comes in a hurry. Ken Clark storming in, throwing Anderson for a loss. The clock continues to run, less than a minute, as you see, and now the St. Louis Cardinals call a timeout. That's their first. Well, coming up at halftime, Brendan Irv with scores and highlights, and Irv Cross with legends of the game and a player that Wayne Walker saw a lot of action against in his playing career, tight end Jackie Smith of the Cardinals.
Jackie Smith at the tight end position probably could get off the line of scrimmage quicker and avoid the chuck by the linebacker better than anybody that's played that position.
So all that's coming up at halftime, and Brendan Irv will solidify the playoff story. We're watching L.A. New Orleans, Green Bay Chicago in the NFC. Games underway, and of course Pittsburgh Cleveland in the AFC. 54 seconds remain in the first half, and the Eagles now trying to hold off the Cardinals. A 2-touchdown lead would loom very large in a game like this, wouldn't it?
Well, no question. It's a game now where a break of some sort will decide it, and it just historically, you catch a day like today, that's what happens. It's just hard to hang on to that ball consistently all day long without dropping it, although they have done a pretty good job today. There haven't been that many turnovers, and there haven't been a lot of penalties. It's been really an extremely well-played game considering the circumstances.
Otis Anderson has been outstanding, really keeping his footing and getting some momentum going on running plays. And of course, on this drive, the big gainer was a 24-yard pass from Lomax to the tight end Doug Marsh. But right now it's 2nd and 11 at the 11-yard line, 2nd and goal. See if the Eagle defense can stiffen here. Lomax looping it to Roy Green. Touchdown. And for Roy Green, that is his 14th touchdown reception of the year.
Great touch by Lomax that time, picking out his favorite wide receiver, Roy Green, over in the corner. Looked for him right away. You can see that. Lobbed it up. He's working against Herman Edwards. Gave him a post move. Edwards tried to bump him up there and didn't get much of him. And that's why Green got behind him.
And for Roy Green, he has now become the all-time receiving leader for the St. Louis Cardinals, breaking Bobby Joe Conrad's mark set 20 years ago. Denny Perrin will hold for O'Donohue with 49 seconds remaining, and the kick is good, and it's 14-0. But Roy Green is into the record books, and that was his 14th touchdown of the season, and he leads the NFL in that department.
And only one behind behind Sonny Randall, former wide receiver for St. Louis career records and touchdowns in the season. 15 Randall had.
Well, next Monday, the NFL Today at 2 o'clock Eastern, and then the wild card game in the NFC. We know one thing, that the Dallas Cowboys will be playing at home at Texas Stadium. Their opponent, well, we may know today, we may not know until after tomorrow night. 5 plays, 60 yards in a minute and 11 seconds, and it's 14-0 the Cardinals lead. Roy Green, just a couple of years ago, he was the first legitimate two-way player in more than 20 years in the National Football League, and a terrific transformation from defensive back to wide receiver.
Jim Hannafin spotted him catching passes after practice one day and said, "There's my wide receiver." Now that they got Roy Green, who's a Brenner, you know, they want another one. He said, you know, what would you like to have perhaps next year? And he said, well, I wouldn't mind another guy that could run like that. You could really stretch the field out.
And the kickoff by O'Donohue, bounces off of Byron Darby and goes out of bounds, and that's where the Eagles will take it. 14-0 the Cardinals lead with 45 seconds to go. Perry Harrington picking up the ball after it bounced off of Darby. .46 seconds away from halftime. Scores and highlights. Brent Nerve. Ron Jaworski. Touchdowns and now 16 interceptions on the year. This one is incomplete. Tony Woodruff was the intended receiver. 9th round draft pick. They're looking for Woodruff in the future, and of course he has caught only 5 balls, but 2 of them have been for touchdowns. One of them beat the Los Angeles Rams, and his first catch of the year was a touchdown against the Bears. Timeouts with that much time remaining. 2nd and 10 now at the 27. Jaworski, 10 of 22, going over 100 yards, has 111. The Eagles off the board, 14-0. Up the middle, and it's caught by Michael Haddix, and Haddix gets away from a defender and brings it out now for a first down to the 41-yard line, where the Eagles call a timeout.
May have been Lee Nelson that was on him early, but Haddix broke a tackle, ran a little circle pattern coming out of the backfield. Jaworski waited for him to come over the middle, threw a good ball in there, right on the money. That is 38 Lee Nelson. Haddix broke that tackle and then picked up some more.
A 14-yard pickup for Haddix, who's the 4th leading receiver for the Eagles this year, and so they now have 2 timeouts remaining with 33 seconds to go.
Amazing me so far in this game, Dick, is how the quarterbacks have been performing. As I mentioned, you know, there are other ones out there that are having the hardest time keeping their hands and their fingers warm, and both Lomax and Jaworski have had the ball right on the money most of the day.
So from house cleaning on the shoes. Any kind of footwear gives you an edge in this kind of weather?
I think the more of those little nubs and suction things that you have on them, the better off you are on a day like today.
1st and 10. They're at the 33-yard line. Jaworski, incomplete. Wayne Smith. Defending against Melvin Hoover. It'll be 2nd and 10. So far, the Eagles, who have not had a good season running the ball in the good weather, have managed only 5 yards rushing. You mentioned they miss Wilbert Montgomery badly. I mean, he is one of the premier runners in the game. You just can't play a season without him, and basically that's what they've done. Second down and 10. Quick pass. open was Tony Woodruff, but he fell down and lost his footing. Lionel Washington was standing there, and so just nothing you can do about that.
You mentioned, you know, Montgomery being gone and that hurting the running game, but you can do so many things as Woodward. There's been so many times that they line him up at wide receiver. That helps stretch the defense a little bit and helps the other running backs, but they haven't been able to do that.
Slipping and sliding. Ordinarily, that pass would have worked. So it's 3rd and 10 at the 41-yard line. 25 seconds remain in the first half. 14-0 the Cardinals lead. Touchdown in each of the first 2 quarters. Bubba Baker trying to put some pressure on. Jaworski can't go anywhere. And David Galloway engulfs him. David Galloway, a 2nd-round draft choice in his 2nd year out of the University of Florida. Started against the Packers in the Cardinal playoff game last year. Had some problems earlier this year, but has come on strong. And they really like their front 4 now. So the clock runs, and we will not get another playoff. And that should do it for the first half. And that's it. There's the gun. So on a wintry afternoon in St. Louis, Missouri, with the lights on at Bush Memorial Stadium, it's the end of the first half with the score: the St. Louis Cardinals 14 and the Philadelphia Eagles nothing. We're back here at Bush Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. Our halftime score: the St. Louis Cardinals 14, the Philadelphia Eagles nothing. We started the game at 19 below wind chill factor with snow that has been falling steadily. I'm Dick Stockton. This is Wayne Walker. Lionel Washington has picked off 2 Ron Jaworski passes. Otis Anderson has a 14-yard touchdown run. And Lomax hit Roy Green with a touchdown pass that broke the Cardinal receiving record. Other than that, what can you say about this game?
Actually, it's been a pretty clean game, considering what's going on down there on the field, how hard it is to stand up. I really was impressed with O.J. Anderson's running, his ability to keep his balance and make some cuts out there. And then the 2 quarterbacks, I think, are doing extremely well in this situation.
Now, we have seen the Cardinals do something on offense when they've had the opportunity, but the Eagles have been stymied. You know, you've played in this kind of weather. Why and what can they do?
Well, it's because they're just really one-dimensional right now. Philadelphia is. Look at that rushing yardage, 5 yards. Jaworski has thrown for 92, so it's 97 total. On the other side, they've been able to mix it up a little bit because of the ability of O.J. Juice Anderson to run some. So that's helped Lomax. His passing yardage isn't what Jaworski's is, but he's been able to pick and choose a little bit. And
I also think Jaworski's getting a little bit more pressure from the Cardinal defense than maybe Lomax has.
No question. Eagles came up with their first sack in the first half in 3 weeks. So they have not been getting pressure on the passer, and that also is a clue.
So the score is 14-0. The Cardinals leading. They're trying to finish up in a blaze of glory. They have had some very impressive victories since their 1-5 start, including successes against AFC West clubs. They have beaten Seattle, San Diego, and the Raiders last week. Their only losses, as we said, since that first start, to Dallas and Washington. So I think the Cardinals feel they have something to build on. And the Eagles, they had that disastrous 7-game losing streak in the last 3 weeks. Though they have lost 2 of them, have been in the fight. And so that's why I think Marion Campbell wanted to see this game end up on a high note.
You always won. It always makes you feel better during the offseason if you've won that last game, no matter what your record was. Marion Campbell told us that that next year he's probably going to spend a little bit more time with the offense than he did this year. One of the things that he has done, he's gone back and reworked the defense this year, and he felt he needed to do that because they had dropped down last year, and he felt he needed to spend that time with the defense. But he said next season he'll get a little bit more involved with the offense, and it'll probably mean for a more well-rounded Philadelphia team.
And what's he going to do come Monday and Tuesday?
Go fishing or hunting or be somewhere where it's warm, probably, huh?
There's Marion Campbell, who took over for Dick Vermeil this season. Won his opening game against the San Francisco 49ers. Beat Denver in the 3rd week. Then came a 7-game losing streak, starting with that 37-7 trouncing in Dallas. Losses to Chicago and Baltimore, the Cowboys again, and then the 23-0 loss to the Giants. But I think the Eagles have a blend of some good young players, and they've got some veterans too. They're going to have a player that's retiring after the game, and that's Stan Walters, left tackle. But we've got more as we get into the second half of players that are playing their last game.
A couple of great veterans on the St. Louis Cardinals may be playing their last game. Dan Deerdorf for sure. They had a ceremony for him before this game, the great offensive lineman for years around here. And then there is speculation that Jimmy Hart, the veteran quarterback, may not be back next season. He hasn't said he won't be, but the club hasn't said he will be. There he is right there.
Jim Hart, who engineered the Cardinal win over the Eagles earlier this season, the 18-year veteran, 39 years old, and it's a matter of speculation as to say whether he'll be back next year. But Dan Deerdorf, the 12-year veteran, 6-time All-Pro, is retiring. But we have 30 minutes of football remaining, and maybe more. Cardinals lead at 14-0, and Tony Franklin will be kicking off to Stump Mitchell and Randy Love. Willard Harrell also back there for the Cardinals. The busiest man on the field today. Jim Hart. Hart pulled out the game earlier this year on a touchdown pass to Roy Green with 29 seconds left. Has had a terrific career here in St. Louis. Oddly enough, Neil Lomax has thrown more touchdown passes this year than at any time during Jim Hart's career. In fact, Lomax's 23 touchdowns is the best for a Cardinal quarterback since Charlie Johnson's 28. That was 20 years ago. And there's Dan Deerdorf. You saw him going into the dressing room. He says, you know, you don't mind saying you're going to retire on a day like this.
Well, injuries and additions of other people to the offensive line have cut down his playing time, so it's not like, you know, he's been a regular this year. They kind of phased him out and had a nice day for him here. Brought in some of his teammates. Conrad Dover was here to say goodbye to him, and he's had a pretty nice day.
And you know what? Jim Hannafin offered the Deerdorf to start this game. He says, if you like to, put on that number 72 and start. And he says, no, the game is important. No time for sentiment. Get the people you want in there to play. And that's typical Dan Deerdorf. We are waiting, of course, for the snow machine to clear the end zone and the sidelines. This is about as clear as we've seen the field all day today, Wayne. Don't forget, plenty coming up on CBS Sports on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. As we've mentioned, you college football and basketball Christmas Eve, and on Christmas Day we have more action for you with the blue-gray game and an NBA broadcast with the Nets and the Knicks, and the NFC wild card game on the 26th. Tell you more about all of those. Tony Franklin's been waiting to kick off for close to 10 minutes now. Even Tony wears a shoe on a day like this.
And it's no fun being out there right now. There's no question at all about that. There's not anyone that's enjoying it. It's just another day at the office right now for everybody.
Because we're having a good time up here. We're enjoying it. And Tony Franklin finally gets it underway in the second half, and it bounces past Stump Mitchell into the end zone. And it'll be a touchback. Cardinals will take it out at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10. 14-0, the Cardinals lead. Neil Lomax, we said in his 3rd year, has made terrific strides. He's thrown a touchdown pass, his 23rd of the year, to Roy Green. 14th TD reception. And having a good day numbers-wise. He's got Otis Anderson, number 32. And Earl Farrell, number 31. Farrell is the up back. He's going to call an audible here. 1st and 10 at the 20, and Otis Anderson. Anderson breaks a tackle or two. Wes Hopkins misses it, and he nearly has a 1st down. Right now, for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York. All right, Brent. So Kenny Stabler has had a rough day physically all year. The Rams lead. Tell you what all that means after this play. 2nd down and 1. And here's Earl Farrell carrying for the first time, and he's got a 1st down as he rambles out to the 35-yard line. So Earl Farrell carrying the ball for the first time. He has scored a touchdown this year. Strong inside runner in his second year from East Tennessee State. Wes Hopkins and Bill Cowher make the play. Of course, if the Rams go on and win, they keep their wild card hopes alive and also have a shot for the NFC West title if the 49ers lose to Dallas tomorrow. 1st and 10 at the 35. Jerry Robinson is not in there as Otis Anderson carries. We mentioned Bill Cowher, who makes the tackle. Cowher replacing Jerry Robinson as Otis Anderson carries for the first time in the set.
A little different play that time that St. Louis ran, Dick. They got their tackle, Tootie Robbins, the right tackle, kind of pulled him, and he was almost a lead blocker on that side. Clear to the left. That's 290 pounds getting out of there extremely quick. We got word that the St. Louis offensive linemen changed their footwear and at halftime, and don't know for sure what they went to, but there is a possibility that they could go to the regular short cleats.
Joel Williams being tended to right now. Shaken up. And he's going to come out of the ball game. Rich Kranek replaces him, an 8th round draft pick out of the University of Pittsburgh. So Joel Williams, acquired from the Atlanta Falcons. He had a contract dispute in Atlanta. Goes out of the ball game. 2nd at the 40-yard line. Otis Anderson has gained 92 yards so far, 15 carries. Neil Lomax in trouble. And finally down. Greg Brown had a hand on the jersey at first, and Dennis Harrison storms in, and that was just either good coverage by the Eagles secondary or the Cardinal receivers couldn't get open.
I think it was an excellent job in the secondary by the Eagles. Lomax with good time initially right here. He's back in the pocket, well protected, looking downfield, can't find anyone. They have a progression system where he goes from one receiver to a second to a third, but he can't get it away. Greg Brown 98 there first, and then Dennis Harrison cleans up for sack number 12, adding to that career high of his.
Intercepts his first pass of the year, and that is only the 8th pickoff by the Philadelphia Eagles this season.
They played 2 deep zones. See him back here, and then 5 underneath. Roy Young running with Roy Green. He's got help deep from Bernard Wilson, number 22, but he turns around, plays the ball, his head and eyes looking back towards the quarterback. He's got as much right to the ball as a receiver. An excellent play that time by Roynell Young.
Fewest number of interceptions in the NFL of the Eagles, but they pick one off right here and take over. On a very difficult day to execute with the elements, we've had only 3 turnovers, which is pretty low. But the Eagles have it 1st and 10 on their 26-yard line, trailing the Cardinals 14-0. Jaworski in a hurry, and it's Harold Carmichael. Carmichael at the 40-yard line. And Carmichael is ridden out of bounds by Benny Perrin, just shy of midfield. And the biggest gain of the day by the Philadelphia Eagles.
And a great job by both Jaworski and Harold Carmichael reading the blitz. 54 E.J. Jr. coming in from the left side, leads this spot right here, vacated short. Carmichael runs a short post into. He adjusted his route as he left the line of scrimmage after seeing the blitz. Jaworski read him, and number 17 picks up some important yardage.
A 24-yard gain. The longest play to Harold this year was 29 yards, and that was for a touchdown. And the Eagles bring it out to their own 48-yard line, 1st and 10. Carmichael has caught 4 passes now for 69 yards. Pitch out to Hubie Oliver. And Oliver fights his way close to midfield. Charlie Baker, number 52, the left linebacker, makes the tackle, and a gain of maybe a couple of yards. So it's 2nd and 9 at midfield. The Eagles are trying to avoid being swept by the Cardinals for the first time in 6 years. Jaworski under pressure. And he will be down.
again, Dick. I think it was a one back there with initial pressure. You'll see him coming in from the right of your screen, number 75. Tremendous quickness he has. He'll show up right there. Jaworski had to step forward, and it all caved in on him. So Greer, once again, the instigator of this sack.
Stafford Mays, Bubba Baker also in there for the Cardinals. They had 6 sacks against the Raiders last week, all by different players. They have 5 in this game. So Floyd Peters has to like that pressure. But Nelson says that's the big difference, is the pressure on the quarterback by the front 4. 3rd and 15 now, back at the 43. But Jaworski in a hole once again. And this pass is intercepted by Cedric Mack. Cedric Mack in his second-round draft pick out of Baylor, one of those rookies that the Cardinals drafted along with Lionel Washington and Leonard Smith you were talking about.
One of the 2 that were drafted ahead of Lionel Washington. Cedric Mack, a rookie out of Baylor, the number 2 draft choice, a great athlete, real smooth, good speed, reacts to the ball here, makes a good move, cuts in front. He has it. It'll be St. Louis ball, and they still have a 14-0 lead.
Following the interception by Cedric Mack, his 3rd of the year and the 3rd of the game for the Cardinals, Neil Lomax has the big red on the Eagle 45-yard line, 1st and 10 with 10:39 to go, 3rd quarter. Otis Anderson, a reliable running back, hands off a couple of would-be tacklers and is finally down. Bill Cowher and Wes Hopkins were there finally. But Anderson is really having a terrific ball game in this kind of weather and nearing the 100-yard mark. In fact, he is 6 away right now. He's got 94 yards on 16 carries. For Otis Anderson, as Wayne mentioned, perhaps a lot of people around here take him for granted. Many times he's looking like he's not running that hard, but just look at the numbers and what he's accomplished for a team that hasn't been all that successful.
4 1,000-yard seasons for him.
Anderson has scored a touchdown today, one of the 2. The Cardinals lead at 14-0. It's 2nd down and 9. Earl Farrell cut inside for Farrell as he gets inside the 40-yard line, and he's tackled at the 39. It'll be 3rd and 4, and making the play for the Eagles is the free safety Wes Hopkins and Bill Cowher again. Hopkins was another player who made it from the start for the Philadelphia Eagles, like Michael Williams. Hopkins, a 2nd-round draft pick out of Southern Methodist and a free safety, really made a reputation at camp as a good open field hitter. And he did pretty well against Eric Dickerson when the Eagles went against the Rams. Those 2, of course, play together at college. 3rd and 4 at the 39. 2 tight ends and Otis Anderson. Anderson still going. And out of bounds at the 25-yard line, knocked out of bounds by Randy Logan, and a good block by the left tackle Louis Sharp. And now Otis Anderson has gone over 100 yards for the 10th time this 7th time this season. But we have a penalty marker down, and if that's against the Cardinals, and it appears as if it is, that will nullify the yardage. All that work for O.J., and it won't go in the books.
Holding number 67, offense, still 3rd down.
Watch Louis Sharp.
Yeah, he'll be the tackle to the left right here. That's 265 pounds, pulling from the tackle spot and still getting out in front on the sweep right here. He's trying to log in the linebacker. He gets turned. You can see where he's got Cowher grabbed and throws him down. Good call by the officials.
So Otis Anderson has not gone over the 100-yard mark following the penalty. Instead, it's 3rd and 12 at the 47-yard line. And Lomax up the middle, complete to Danny Pittman, and a 1st down. And our first look at the man who has emerged as the number 3 receiver on the Cardinals, acquired on waivers from the Giants in November. Only his 2nd catch since joining the Cardinals, but he's made 2 tough ones.
Jim Hannafin said he first noticed Danny Pittman when he was a rookie for the New York Giants. He caught 25 passes his rookie year, and they kept seeing him look good on films and said, you know, why didn't we make him a 4th-round draft choice? They got him now, and they're going to use him. 25 catches his rookie year for the Giants. You compare that, you know, it just looked like Mike Quick last year only had 10 catches his rookie year. So you never know what will happen down the line.
Pittman out of the University of Wyoming. Caught a big one against the Raiders. Let's see if he made it or not. Awfully close, inches away one way or another, and he's short by a couple of inches. So it'll be 4th and inches, and the Cardinals are going to go for it. They are just outside the 35-yard line. 9.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Cardinals lead the Eagles 14-0. Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker. Randy Love has come into the ball game. Wayne Morris, the starting fullback on injured reserve, placed there yesterday. So Love and Earl Farrell are the 2 running backs. Otis Anderson also there, and quarterback sneak, first down. Neil Lomax.
Says that his development this year, Dick, was the main thing was he got healthy. He was hurt at the first of the year, had a shoulder injury, came back from that. He said at the start I was also worrying about my mechanics. Rod Dowhauer, the quarterback coach, was working with him on his footwork and his drop, and he said now that stuff is all second nature to me. I can go ahead and concentrate downfield without thinking about the mechanics.
And he has thrown a touchdown pass in his 8th consecutive game today. He has been consistent. 1st and 10 at the 34. Lomax has open field, throws it, and Anderson trying to make a one-handed grab. Had Lomax chosen to run, he had open field to his left for about 20 yards at least.
He may have been able to run to the Gateway Arch had he kept going. Here it is right here. This is called a dash. Now he'll start back like he's going straight in the pocket, dash out to the right, gets him outside, try to get a second look, nothing there. Looks around. Now he's got plenty of room right here should he elect to keep going, but he saw O.J. Anderson over the middle, wanted to get it to him and missed through it high and behind.
2nd down and 10. Cardinals at the Eagle 34-yard line. Anderson outside and out of bounds. Inside the 30-yard line, Bill Cowher makes the tackle. The Rams lead cut to 2 over the Saints, 16-14. Keep in mind, New Orleans has never made it to the playoffs. Their best year was 8-8. So this could be a big day for them, but they've got to beat the Los Angeles Rams in a big game at the Superdome, 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 5 for the Cardinals. They needed to adjust the ball. So that will just go as an official's time, and now we're ready. Wide receivers split to the left. Otis Anderson off the right side. Breaks the tackle, breaks 2, and has a first down at the 15-yard line. Ball mark at the 14, and he has been a bull of a running back this afternoon in the snow.
Not just great running and great blocking. Terry Steve and Louis Sharp again, a left guard, left tackle out in front. Otis Anderson cuts it up behind them both. Bill Cowher, number 57, overran it a little bit, and then Otis Anderson broke his tackle and picked up some more.
So for the 7th time officially this year, Otis Anderson has gone over 100 yards in a game. He's carried for 18 times in this one. He gained 133 yards the first time these clubs met.
It's an incredible day. A day like today.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Stump Mitchell's going to carry the left side. Bill Cowher grabs him at the 10-yard line. So Bill Cowher has been playing for Jerry Robinson, who's been shaken up and on the sidelines and has been in most of the tackles for the Eagles. Cowher, a free agent, originally with the Eagles, was cut and spent 3 years with the Cleveland Browns. When the Eagles had a lot of injuries in preseason with their linebackers, they acquired him.
Cowher was voted the MVP on the special teams for the Eagles. Jerry Robinson was the MVP defensive player. And Mike Quick, of course, most valuable player on offense for Philadelphia this season. Cowher's a toughie.
2nd and 6. Earl Farrell looking for room. Fumbles it out of bounds. It's still Cardinal ball. Reggie Wilkes was with him step for step.
Reggie Wilkes made a fine play at the outside linebacker spot that time, strung it all out. He was hurt earlier in the year. Started the last 12 games for Philadelphia. They've had their share of injuries this season.
Jody Schultz was the starter at outside linebacker when Wilkes was out, and Schultz himself came down with an injury the 3rd week of the season, and Wilkes had to come back. 3rd down and 6. The ball at the 10-yard line. 6:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. Short drop by Lomax. Can't find anyone. Wilkes is chasing it. Gets it away, and Stump Mitchell just couldn't hold on to it. And it's 4th down.
Lomax has great mobility back there, and in fact that was one of his problems early on, was the fact that he spent too much time running around and not enough time concentrating on what's going on downfield. You can see how that's changed. Even though he's moving back here now, head and eyes and his concentration downfield all the time. He's not getting flustered. More apt to throw it out of that situation than run, and before it was usually strictly run when he took off.
27-yard field goal attempt coming up for Neil O'Donoghue, who has been a pretty good kicker and had a disastrous game against the Giants here in St. Louis, but has come back somewhat. O'Donoghue is 14 of 26. Perrin holding. 27-yard attempt is up, and it's good. So the Cardinals are handling this kind of weather, and they've upped their lead to 17-0 with 6:22 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Rookie Glenn Young of Mississippi State is the middleman on the return team for the Eagles. And O'Donoghue dribbles it up the middle when Major Everett picks it up for the Eagles and takes it out to the 35-yard line. Well, next Saturday we'll have a college basketball football doubleheader for you. On Christmas Eve, first of all, the Boston College Eagles. Jay Murphy and Michael Adams, they've gone far in the NCAA championships the last several years, coached by Gary Williams, take on the Maryland Terrapins in Lefty Driesell, 1 o'clock Eastern time. And then the Sun Bowl, and a good matchup.
Yes, it is. SMU and Alabama out there in El Paso, and they always have fun out there.
Ray Perkins against Alabama team against SMU. Good record. That follows it. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line for the Eagles, trailing now 17-0. Curtis Greer, was he drawn off? Dean Maraldi might have moved, and he did. So that'll go against the Philadelphia Eagles 5 yards, and now the Cardinals bring in Leonard Smith and Cedric Mack, and they'll go with 6 defensive backs.
64, offense.
Maraldi has moved into the left tackle position in place of Stan Walters, who's retiring, and they like Maraldi. He's in his 2nd year. That's the first penalty of the ball game against the Philadelphia Eagles. So not many turnovers, 4 in all, and only 1 penalty against the Eagles. Cardinals have only committed 3. 1st and 15, ball at the 30-yard line. Jaworski completes the pass to Tony Woodruff. And Woodruff is down short of midfield. Cedric Mack makes the tackle on Tony Woodruff. He had suffered a broken collarbone. First day of camp, he was on injured reserve until 5 weeks ago, but they think he has big play potential. Keep in mind now that the Cardinals' defensive record in third quarters in the last 5 games. They haven't let anyone score in this game the first 2 quarters plus. Second down and 6 at the 39. Jaworski is going to go down. Stafford, Mays, Curtis Greer.
Curtis Greer again initially, I think, and Maraldi's just having a tough time out there. Curtis Greer is kind of bull rushing him, taking him straight back, and Maraldi can't get any traction in the turf. He's going back like a snowplow.
So now the Cardinals have sacked Jaworski 6 times, and that equals the number of sacks against the Raiders last week. So they're finishing the season in a blaze as far as the defensive pressure is concerned. It's 3rd down and 14 at the 31-yard line. Clock running down. We have 5:05 remaining in the third quarter. It's been all St. Louis Cardinals in this one. Jaworski loops it up the middle to Carmichael. He's beaten the defender, and Carmichael is into St. Louis territory and out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. That's the 5th catch of the day for Carmichael, and when they've needed the big play, they have gone to Harold. Wayne Smith makes the tackle.
Well, they keep that red line off Jaworski this time. Give him some time. Carmichael coming across the middle with E.J. Jr. on him. A great throw by Jaworski, who had somebody right in his face. Had enough touch on it to get it over Jr., and Carmichael did the rest.
35-yard gain, and with that reception, it ties them for 5th all time with Fred Biletnikoff. So on a day of record setters for Roy Green, put Harold Carmichael moving up a notch. He's got 592 yards. 1st and 10 at the St. Louis 34-yard line. Jimmy Oliver, a couple, and that's all. And Elois Grooms was the first man to get a hand on it. Make that Stafford Mays and not Grooms. Let's credit the right man. Stafford Mays grabbed the shoe top.
Excuse me, Nick. Normally St. Louis's defensive line in passing situations, they use all kind of stunts between their tackles and ends and the tackles with loops and twists, but because of the footing out there today, they haven't done that. They're just going straight ahead, and they've been successful at it.
2nd down and 9 at the 33. Eagles have not been that successful on 1st downs for the most part. Quick toss. They had the rush coming in. Carmichael was the intended receiver. Lee Nelson defending on the play. In that Chicago-Green Bay game, they're tied in the 3rd quarter at Soldier Field. The Packers and the Bears. Bears have been eliminated. Green Bay needs a win to be in any kind of playoff contention.
And then they got to hope that New Orleans and Detroit lose.
3rd and 9. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Jaworski has completed 14 passes, 29 attempts, and he's nearing 200 yards, but he's thrown 3 interceptions. He's been sacked 6 times. Gets rid of this one in open field, and it's intercepted. E.J. Jr. 3rd interception of the year, the 4th in the game for the Cardinals. And a good pass rush by Al Baker.
Yeah, just look at the penetration all the way down the line right here by the St. Louis Cardinals front 4. And look at the push they're getting off the ball, and they're right back in Jaworski's face. He can't do much. He can't operate right here at all. He has to get out. Baker had a hand on him. Jaworski threw it up for Harold Carmichael, the only 6'8" player on the field. He couldn't come up with it. E.J. Jr. did.
4 interceptions. 17-0 the Cardinals lead. Ron Jaworski's been sacked 6 times. He has thrown 4 interceptions today. Lomax has thrown a touchdown pass to Roy Green, and Otis Anderson has scored a touchdown. Lomax on 1st down drills it, and Tilly makes a fine catch.
How does Tilly do that, Nick? How does he do that?
Well, he goes up, and when the ball comes, he grabs it and comes to it. Royal, yeah, I don't know. You know better than I. He's wearing gloves.
I mean, that's a great fingertip catch. It really is. We mentioned before that those guys are wearing those rubber gloves. They're almost like skin diver gloves. They do have a little bit of traction on it. But Tilly went up there and made a catch that you'd be proud of in early September on a warm day.
Well, he's always been a skilled receiver with ability to get open and run those routes pretty well. Prior to this, has led the Cardinals in receiving 5 straight years. That was a 22-yard pickup. First and 10 at the 39 for St. Louis. And here's Otis Anderson finding a hole off the left side. Here's O.J. And it took Wes Hopkins to bring him down at the 35-yard line of Philadelphia.
Another guy and another run that you got shaking her head. Look at the lead block. Earl Farrell gets a good one right here. O.J. cuts it up, and now just watch this balance and effort right here. Spins, gets away from Herman Edwards, 46. And then it's good hustle by Wes Hopkins to get him down.
26-yard pickup. Otis Anderson now with 139 yards in the game. Earl Farrell. Here's Earl Farrell. And Farrell gets inside the 15-yard line. Bill Cowher on the tackle. With Wayne Morris out of there, we talked to Jim Hannafin about both Randy Love and Earl Farrell, and he said both can play the game, but that Farrell may be the superior runner.
Right, but look at the lead block here by O.J. Anderson, 32, helping out. And down at the end of this run, you're going to see number 32 show up again and try to get a second one. Right here he is again, still trying to block downfield.
Earl Farrell with 23 yards, but what you pointed out about Otis Anderson really says a lot about the man. He is doing it in every way.
And we talked about, you know, the guys want to play today. Yes, they do.
He does. 17-0 Cardinals lead. First and 10 at the Eagle 14. Here is Otis Anderson. Slips, regains his footing, and will settle for going out of bounds. At about the 13-yard line, Randy Logan makes the tackle. The Eagles have not been able to move the ball at all on the ground this afternoon. Otis Anderson has gained over 140 yards, and the Cardinals are nearing 200 yards rushing. Minute 13 remaining, third quarter. Cardinals lead 17-0 and driving for more. The Saints have overtaken the Rams now 17-16 in the fourth quarter. Roy Green in motion. Doug Mitchell inside the 10. Mitchell's still going, and Mitchell is down at the 1-yard line, and less than that. Roynell Young makes the play, and Stump Mitchell came within a foot of going in.
Stump Mitchell, another effort guy. 31 again is Earl Farrell out in front, and he gets a good block there. Now watch the rest by Mitchell. Pulls away from one, gets to the corner. Mitchell was the guy. I'll tell you how much he likes to play football. He was the guy last year during the players' strike who went home and worked out in pads with his high school football team.
He went to the small school of the Citadel, relatively speaking, football-wise. A 9th-round draft pick at 5'9", 188. Love and Mitchell are the running backs. First and goal at the 1. Goes in for the touchdown. So Randy Love with his second touchdown rushing of the year has scored for the Cardinals to make it 23-0.
That was a great drive on any day. They mixed up some passing.
6 points.
Tilly made a good catch. Anderson made runs. Farrell made runs. Stump Mitchell. They passed the baton on that drive.
Neil Lomax bringing the team down, and the offsides penalty against the Eagles was declined. Neil O'Donoghue will try to add the 24th point with 59 seconds to go in the third quarter. And the Cardinals are 59 seconds away holding the team scoreless for the last 6 weeks. Holding is Perrin. Injured Eagle being taken off or helped off the field is Greg Brown. Conversion perfect, and it's 24-0. St. Louis Cardinals finishing in a blaze. At 24-0, third quarter. 24-0 now. The Cardinals lead the Eagles and heading for their first sweep of Philadelphia in 6 years. And that's the scoring drive, and a pretty good scoring drive. 6 plays, 83 yards. O'Donoghue kicking off now on the ground. Picked up by Perry Harrington. Harrington is hit hard at the 25, and it's got to hurt, sting more than a little bit when you're down in this kind of weather. And penalty markers fly all over the place, and O'Donoghue and some of the Cardinals getting into it with some of the Eagles at the 45-yard line. I think they have better things to do, wouldn't you? Chet Parlavecchio, Wes Hopkins. Want to remind you that on the day after Christmas, the NFL today will start it off at 2 o'clock Eastern, and the NFC wild card game. The Dallas Cowboys will be playing at Texas Stadium against either San Francisco, Los Angeles, New Orleans, or Green Bay, is the way it appears right now.
Yeah, and it's still up for grabs.
Unnecessary roughness, 45, Philadelphia. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 57, St. Louis. Both players are disqualified.
Chet Parlavecchio of the Cardinals is disqualified. Wes Hopkins, they said number 45, and they don't have a number 45, and I believe Hopkins has been the man tossed out for the Philadelphia Eagles. So their free safety is out. Jim Hanifin making sure he has the whole picture straightened out down on the Cardinal sideline. Hanifin has done a terrific job here in St. Louis. You know, last year the Cardinals were 5-4 in the strike abbreviated year, and the Cardinals made the playoffs. But with the victory here, and the Cardinals are heading that way, it's their first winning season since 1976 at 8-7-1, and that's a pretty good record because some teams going to the playoffs are right around that mark.
He thinks he's got it going the right direction here in St. Louis, even when things were going bad earlier in the year. He said, I really didn't overreact to it, and neither did the front office here.
51 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 1st and 10 Eagles at the 25. Blitz situation, and Michael Haddix gets by one man and then slips on the turf. Al Baker was right there on the play. David Galloway as well. That's a very big part of this game. The rushing story with the Cardinals, most of it from Otis Anderson. Philadelphia hasn't gotten untracked at all, but also the Cardinal defense with 4 interceptions and 6 sacks if you're Washington. 2nd down and 10. This could be the last play of the third quarter. Clock ticking down. 6 seconds remaining. Swing pass out to Michael Haddix. Haddix will have the first down as he's hit hard at the 42-yard line by Leonard Smith. And there is the gun, and that is the end of the third quarter with the score. The St. Louis Cardinals 24, the Philadelphia Eagles nothing. We now pause for a word from your local station. Start the fourth quarter here in St. Louis. The Cardinals lead the Eagles 24-0. Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker. For him, 1st and 10 at the 42 for the Eagles. Cardinals have shut out their opposition in the third quarter the last 6 weeks now. Lead it by a wide margin. Ron Jaworski on 1st down. 7 sacks now for the Cardinals. This time it's Al Baker. And Curtis Greer. And those are the two who have been doing it all year.
Al Baker from the right side of your screen will be coming in, working against Jerry Sizemore. And he's back there on Jaworski. You know, if I were the Eagle lineman right now, I think I'd start doing some cutting. They've been trying to take this defensive line of the Cardinals up, you know, straight up. And now that they're all charged up and playing strictly pass, I think I'd have to cut them a couple times low and slow them down a little bit. I know it's not the best technique, but on a day like today, I think it'd be effective.
Second down, 14. 13 sacks the last 2 games for the Cardinals up front. Jaworski, his pass overthrown. It was intended for Melvin Hoover. Covering on the play was Benny Perry. Lee Nelson on a safety blitz. We were talking about Al Baker. Of course, he came over from the Detroit Lions. There he is, number 60, for Mike Dawson. Dawson, a good run defender. Galloway has done that, but Baker has given him a good pass rush. And of course, Floyd Peters likes some of those Detroit Lion rejects, like Wayne Smith, who's been consistent at right cornerback, and Al Baker.
Peters was the defensive coach there at one time.
Third down and 14 now at the 38-yard line. Down in yardage has not been favorable at all to the Eagles today. Jaworski under siege again and down back at the 25-yard line. David Galloway gets into the act now. Everyone has had a role for the St. Louis Cardinals today. 8 sacks in all, and Galloway, a good inside pass rusher, came into the game with 10. Fourth down, and Max Runeker will punt for Philadelphia. You can be sure that it's much colder on the Eagles side than it is on the Cardinals side right now. Stump Mitchell back to 40. Mitchell going over and fielding it on the 32 and just gathers it in. And now it's like a little bit of a sleigh ride. Major Everett defending on the play along with John Shire. So we have a timeout. Opening minutes, and now we have a little tempers flaring. Victor Heflin of the Cardinals and some of the Eagles. It's been that kind of a game. And now they patch it up. Timeout. 13:40 remain in this fourth quarter. Here in St. Louis are chanting, "We want Dan." They want Dan Deerdorf, and Dan Deerdorf taking the jacket off, number 72.
I think he's going to go. Tootie Robbins is halfway off the field in case Deerdorf wants to come out. Now he's back in the huddle, and Deerdorf will probably go in the next play. I love it. I love it.
What a treat for the fans who have come to know and love Dan Deerdorf, and of course for Deerdorf to get in a one final shot in a brilliant career. First and 10 for the Cardinals on the 32-yard line, and Otis Anderson is stopped behind the line of scrimmage, losing a yard. Making the tackle, Ken Clark and Rich Cranick.
Look at that, he's forgetting how to buckle up.
Here he comes.
Three times in his career, the rest of the players around the league voted him the best offensive lineman.
All-Pro 6 times, Dan Deerdorf has come in the ball game. A last hurrah for one of the most durable and outstanding offensive linemen the National Football League has ever seen. Second down and 9 at the 33. And Otis Anderson outside goes out of bounds. By the way, Otis Anderson has his season's high in this game with 146 yards. His previous high was against the Vikings at 136. So it says something about the man, Otis Anderson, to get his season's high on a day like this. The Rams have retaken the lead 23-17 over New Orleans. A wild game at the Superdome in the fourth quarter, and they got to be raising the roof down there.
6-point lead is precarious right now for the Rams.
The loser of that game is out of playoff consideration. Third and 4 at the 38 for the Cardinals. Inside handoff to Otis Anderson, and Otis Anderson's going to have the first down. What a game he's playing. Approaching midfield, John Shira makes the tackle.
Otis Anderson, Dan Deerdorf blocking over on the right side, came down and got a block on the nose tackle, helped out a little bit, and just about everybody in the stadium that's sitting in the stands was watching him.
154 yards now for O.J., and he's going to come out, but so is Deerdorf. Dan Deerdorf comes out of the ball game. One final wave to the fans. Jim Hannafin, of course, Jim Hannafin specializes in the offensive line.
Specializes in being a nice guy, too.
What did he say? He says players can tell if you're a phony. You can't fool the players. Roy Green. And Roy Green loses the ball and then picks it up. First down, Cardinals. At about the 11-yard line. Young makes the tackle, and Roy Green on a fine reception.
Green the flyer right here, just running a slant in pattern. Lomax with plenty of time. Green makes a good catch as he leaped up and caught it off the fingertips. Almost lost it and then got on it himself.
So the Cardinals have it first and 10. They're at the 22-yard line. That's where they marked the ball. 31-yard play for the all-time receiving leader for the Cardinals. Screen pass to Green. Incomplete. So in the cold and snow, this has been a glorious day for the St. Louis Cardinals. For those who showed, 39,423. That's a pretty good turnout. Those are the tickets sold. The no-shows were 17,000. But a glorious day, as we were saying, for the Cardinals, because Dan Deerdorf retiring. One final last hurrah. Otis Anderson, his best rushing day. They have 22,000 actually present here at Busch Stadium. Second down and 10. Earl Farrell in a crowd. Farrell is tackled by Anthony Grigg. Very tough division, and everyone knew it going in this year. Of course, a division dominated by the Redskins and the Cowboys. The Giants were a disappointment. The Eagles were a disappointment. The Cardinals were early and strong.
It makes it a very tough division when you have teams like Washington and Dallas in it that are playing so well and have for the last couple of years.
Roy Green has also broken another record, and that is receiving yards held by Jackie Smith, who is the subject of our Legends of the Game today. So Roy Green breaks Bobby Joe Conrad's record for catches and Jackie Smith's record for yardage. Incomplete. Hart was going for Roy Green again. He has already caught one touchdown pass today. Leads the league with 14. Lomax, that is. We've been talking a little bit about Jim Hart. It'll be fourth down and 11. Neil O'Donoghue will try a field goal. He's already made good on a 28-yarder. Benny Perrin will hold. It'll be a 41-yard or 40-yard attempt. No good, off to the left. So O'Donoghue now 1 for 2 this afternoon, and with 9:52 remaining in the fourth quarter, it's all St. Louis in every way today, but it'll be Philadelphia ball when we come back. Philadelphia ball, first and 10. Following the missed field goal by O'Donoghue. Jaworski Fires it out. Michael Haddix holds on to the ball. Takes it out to the 28-yard line. Lee Nelson, a strong safety, makes the play. In that AFC game between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, the Browns now running away with it 30-10 over Pittsburgh. For the Steelers, of course, they've already won the AFC Central. The Browns, of course, need the win, and they need some help.
Yeah, they're staying alive. They need Seattle and Buffalo to lose.
Then Cleveland gets the wild card. Seattle beats New England. They're in as the wild card, along with Denver. Second down and 4. UB Oliver left side. That is ganged up on. E.J. Jr. and Wayne Smith both there. E.J. Jr., as we had told you, will likely move back to middle linebacker. Bob Harris will be one outside linebacker, and we talked about some of the Cardinal needs. You know, some people have talked about another burner, a wide receiver, but another outside linebacker. You know, and with that young and developing secondary and a good force up front, the Cardinal defense could be reckoned with next year. Third down and 4. They're at the 29-yard line. Jaworski gets it out to Mike Quick. And Quick has a reception. Don't forget, Quick is trying to catch up to Harold Carmichael's receiving record. That's his second catch of the game for 14 yards, and he has tied Carmichael, the all-time Philadelphia lead. And they are roommates on the road.
And we mentioned earlier how much he said Harold Carmichael had helped him. He said he had a tendency to dip his shoulder running one certain pattern. Carmichael told him how to break that habit.
Fourth down and 1, and Runeker will kick it.
I what he said about Tommy McDonald.
He says, I'm not into the history so much. I didn't know who Tommy McDonald was until this year.
Can't believe it.
And Runeker's going to run for it on 4th and 1, and he's going to make the first down for the Eagles. So Runeker runs for the first down. Now we have an update at the Superdome in that important game with 3 minutes left now. Look at New Orleans. The Saints have taken the lead over the Rams 24-23 in a wild one. The loser is out of playoff contention. New Orleans can clinch a wild card with a victory.
So young Dave Wilson has brought him back in that one. Stabler injured early.
And what about Bum Phillips and the job he has done in New Orleans, coming over there in a brief period of time?
Bourbon Street will be busy tonight if that score holds up.
First and 10 at the 38-yard line for the Eagles. 7:24 remaining. It's 24-0 in the season finale for both teams. Jaworski will go down again. Curtis Greer. It'll be a sack. No fumble. And I've got to give the officials a pat on the back today, because they have made sure that when a quarterback has been in the grasp of a defensive player, the whistle has been there. 9 sacks.
Curtis Greer again from the left side. Again, Miraldi gets around him to the outside. Almost a no touch. He's just out quicking him over there. And Jaworski's the one paying for it.
Second down and 23. 9 sacks by the St. Louis Cardinals today. Ron Jaworski, though, a durable guy. You know, he has never missed a start to injury since coming to the Eagles. 103 games today. Joe Ferguson of Buffalo, top for active quarterbacks. Jaworski can't get away again. That's number 10. And it's Curtis Greer again. Bubba Baker, the two ends. Tough day for Ron, but he's going to go home to a wife and a new baby boy, William, after this game. So now it's a 3rd and 30 for the Philadelphia Eagles. If the Saints go on and win that game over the Rams, they will then face the Dallas Cowboys in that wild card game a week from tomorrow on CBS. And they had a heck of a game the first time around. if the Saints hold on, and don't forget they only have a 1-point lead with a few minutes to go, it could be New Orleans against Dallas. That was which Ken Stabler was tackled for a safety to give the Cowboys the win late in the game.
In the last minute in his own end zone.
4th down and Max Runeker with 4th and 30. We don't think that he'll be running this one. Actually, he is 5 yards out of the end zone as we take a closer look at the snow-covered field. He is about the 5-yard line. Stump Mitchell on the receiving end at the 45. Up the middle and gets to the Philadelphia 45-yard line. And to the Philadelphia 40. Timeout, 6:04 showing on the clock. That's our score. Tough day for the Eagles. Well, that's Jim Hart, the 39-year-old quarterback. Question rises to whether Jim will be back. He's adjusted to his role as a relief pitcher. Lomax is the man now in St. Louis as he swings it out to Roy Green. And Green barely gets back to the line of scrimmage where the strong safety Randy Logan makes the tackle.
Well, Dick, people around here were hoping that Jimmy Hart just wouldn't walk into the sunset without the organization, the St. Louis Cardinals, and without the fans being able to do something for him. I think they say he's kind of a stubborn guy and kind of wants to play again next year. He hasn't said that he's going to retire. They said that they want him back. And, of course, his partner, Deerdorf, is definitely retiring, so they wanted to do something for Hart here and haven't been able to.
2nd down and 11 at the 41, and here is Stump Mitchell carrying the ball, and he runs right into Rich Kranek.
And on the other side of the field is a guy by the name of Stan Walters, who's had a fine career for the Philadelphia Eagles. He actually retired before the season, but when Dean Moraldi went out with injury, Stan Walters came back. He's over there somewhere. Hopefully he's staying warm, but he's been a fine player for the Eagles over his career, and this is his last game. He said, I don't want to make a big deal about it. It's just the last one for me.
3rd down and 11. Stan Walters, 2 times to the Pro Bowl. This is indeed, as you mentioned, his last game. He was with the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl. Played his college ball at Syracuse. 4:35 remaining. 3rd and 11 at the 41. Lomax finds Roy Green, and Green is close to a 1st down. Near the 30-yard line, Roynell Young makes the tackle, so even in the cold weather, the people that are really doing it for St. Louis today on offense, Otis Anderson and Roy Green, they've been doing it all year. 6 catches for 68 yards for Roy Green today, and Green caught 5 against the Raiders last week. They're shy of a 1st down by less than a yard. And the Cardinals are going to go for it as Randy Love comes in the 2nd tight end, Greg LaFleur, the former Philadelphia Eagle. 4:10 remaining. 4th and 1. And the Cardinals electing to go for it. And they get it. Neil Lomax over the top. We want to remind you that following the game, Brendan Irv will have scores and highlights, and Howard Schnellenberger, the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, will be live in our studios in New York. Howard Schnellenberger leading Miami against Nebraska in the Orange Bowl, and his name's propped up a lot for pro coaching jobs the last week. At the 31st and 10 Cardinals. Wide open is Mark. Touchdown. And that's the 8th touchdown reception of the year for tight end Doug Marsh. He beat Bernard Wilson, and the Cardinals raise their lead again.
Lomax almost looking for him right from the start. Kind of combination pattern over here. Marsh takes it to the corner. Lomax with plenty of time has it right on the shelf. This is an excellent throw.
his best year in his 4th season out of Michigan, the former #2 draft pick. And it's 30-0 in favor of the Cardinals. Perrin holding for O'Donohue. It's 31. St. Louis on this final day going to finish up with a 7-2-1 record in their last 10 games, and that's mighty impressive. 31-0, 3:28 to go in the ball game and in the season for the Cardinals and the Eagles. Kickoff fielded by Major Everett, or is it Glenn Young? It's Glenn Young who takes it out to the 35-yard line. Christmas Day on CBS Sports begins with the 46th annual Blue-Gray game.
The country's top seniors will be in that one. A couple good quarterbacks too, Boomer Esiason and Tom Tunnicliffe.
And following NCAA football, NBA basketball, the New York Knicks. And they really have come on. The New Jersey Nets, they're big rivals. The Knicks beat the Nets in the playoffs last year. The Nets would like revenge, and that follows the Blue-Gray game. Good bill of fare coming up on Christmas Day on CBS. 1st and 10 Eagles at the 33-yard line. Jaworski dumps it off to Hubie Oliver. Hubie Oliver still going with it and gets to the 47-yard line. Al Baker makes the tackle with Cedric Mack. Other scores. Bears lead the Packers 20-14. If the Packers lose that game, the Lions clinch the NFC Central Division title, and Green Bay, of course, is out of playoff consideration.
And the Green Bay loss would also help San Francisco should they lose to Dallas on Monday.
We saw Santa Claus make an entry here just moments ago. 1st and 10 at the 47, 2.5 minutes remain. Here comes Baker. And Jaworski, who's been under siege to the tune of 10 sacks today for 71 yards, just got rid of that ball in a hurry. Greer has 4.5, and we have a penalty marker down at about midfield. Jaworski has completed 18 of 38, 220 yards. That's not too bad, but then you look at the 4 interceptions. A tough day to operate today for anybody.
Especially when you had no running game at all going.
None.
Almost been capitalization of the season.
Downfield, number 73. Offense, still 1st down.
They call that ineligible receiver downfield. Steve Kenny, the left guard. Lionel Washington has 2 of those interceptions. He leads the club with 8 on the year. First down and 20. Jaworski's pass is caught by Mike Quick down the field, trying to beat Lionel Washington. And Washington finally catches up with him at the 12-yard line. So Mike Quick has now broken Harold Carmichael's 1-season Eagle receiving record.
Exactly. That makes it 68 catches for the year. Carmichael had 67. Slant in pattern here by Quick. A missed tackle by Lee Nelson. Lionel Washington comes down and, for the time being anyway, saves the St. Louis shutout.
And now we've had our 2-minute warning. We'll be back. Last time the St. Louis Cardinals shut out an opponent was in 1981 when they blanked the Buffalo Bills 24-0. But that's in jeopardy right now as the Eagles have a 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 14-yard line with 2 minutes remaining in the ball game and the season. And Ron Jaworski hasn't been this close to the enemy goal line all day. 31-0, Cardinals lead it. Jaworski can't go right, looking left, and falling down. Michael Haddix. This has got to be a rough day for Ron Jaworski, who's been a gamer all season long. Tonight on CBS begins with the award-winning 60 Minutes, followed by Alice, One Day at a Time, and the 8th annual Circus of the Stars. That's tonight on CBS. With all the effort they've put out, you don't think that Cardinal defense wants to preserve that shutout.
You don't get a chance to get one very often.
14 yards rushing, big part of the story today. That's all Philadelphia's been able to manage. 2nd and 10 at the 14. Jaworski to Mike Quick, and it's broken up. Denny Perrin on a good play, and he saved a touchdown.
The free safety made up a lot of ground while that ball was in the air. Take a look at it here from the ground level. Jaworski spotted Quick right away and looked like he had it. But watch Perrin come a long way, make a dive and get a hand on the ball. Second-year player out of Alabama.
He has become a fixture in a hurry. Started there as a rookie. Good football sense. And that's just one position they don't even have to worry about for a long time to come. 3rd and 10 at the 14 now. And the crowd here hanging on throughout wants to see the Big Red get their shutout. Jaworski's pass knocked down, incomplete. Leonard Smith, the #1 draft pick from McNeese State, and it was intended for Carmichael. So it's 4th and 10.
Line up and go again. So many times over the years we've seen Jaworski and Carmichael in this situation. They run that pattern where Carmichael kind of goes to the corner and Jaws lobs it up for him to outleap everyone. We may see it here.
And the Eagles are going to call a timeout on 4th down. So this says something. I think this speaks volumes. 1:45 to go in a season in which the Cardinals lead the Eagles 31-0. It's 4th and 10 at the 14. And of course they always try, but the Eagles want to get in there, so they're going to call the timeout now to try and get in for the lone score. Want to remind you that coming up after the game, scores and highlights of this final Sunday of the regular season. Brennan Irv will have the highlights, scores, and Howard Schnellenberger, head coach of the University of Miami, will be live in the studio.
I think we can go back to what you were talking about in part and result of that meeting over there. Marion Campbell said, and we said this at the top of the show, but we can touch on it some more, that the best part of the season for him, he said, was the attitude of his team all year long, that they worked hard for him and they didn't quit. And he's looking forward to next year because he's going to get a Wilbert Montgomery back and a John Spagnola back. He said, it's almost like those two guys are going to be my draft choices.
But you're right about that attitude. He emphasized that over and over. He says, if you have attitude, you can build on that. So despite the loss today in a 5-11 season, Marion Campbell feels he can build on it. 4th and 10 at the 14. Jaworski. And he's down. Al Baker, Curtis Greer are both in there, and so it's fitting for the Cardinals that they preserve their shutout to this point with a quarterback sack. Their 11th of the ballgame.
Greer was the first one back there, and then it was Baker to clean up. And that's been the story all day, really, the pressure on those two defensive ends. They haven't been able to handle them here this afternoon.
And when we talk about the Eagles, disappointing year, they had 6 losses by 4 points or less than what they have to build on. I really think the St. Louis Cardinals are going to be, perhaps, if things break right for them, a force to be reckoned with in the NFC East next year. And that's a tough order with Dallas and Washington.
Well, anytime you got a young quarterback that's getting better and better, you've got a shot at people.
Lomax getting it out to Roy Green. Incomplete. In that Green Bay-Chicago game, the Packers come back and have taken a 21-20 lead over the Chicago Bears. A desperation game for them in the 4th quarter at Soldier Field.
They need to win, as we said before. They need a loss by New Orleans, but New Orleans is leading in their ball game over the Rams, and then Green Bay can also hope that Detroit loses to Tampa Bay.
So if Green Bay holds the lead, that puts the pressure on the Lions to have to beat Tampa Bay. And that game is just getting underway right now. Lomax fakes one way, gets it out to his tight end, Doug Marsh, who goes out of bounds with 1:24 remaining. Randy Logan knocking him out of bounds. So a record-breaking day club-wise for a season. Roy Green, Mike Quick, Dan Deerdorf's retirement, Stan Walters retires, and Otis Anderson, who's got a long way to go in his career, 156 yards. There are 2 seconds remaining in the Rams-Saints game at the Superdome, with the Rams leading 26-24. First and 10, 28-yard line. Falling down is Roy Green, and the clock stops with 1:19.
A little surprising, the fact that they're throwing the ball here when they could hand it off and run the timeout, go somewhere where it's warm.
They have to go far. Second down and 10. Cardinals likely to get their first shutout in 2 years. This is their biggest margin of victory. If it stays like this, Stump Mitchell up the middle. Cardinals had beaten San Diego by 30 points, and they have a 31-point lead here over the Eagles. Winding down to 1 minute remaining.
Did you notice that it stopped snowing?
Yes, well, I didn't, but now that you reminded me. Let's say congratulations to several people. Executive producer Terry O'Neill, senior producer Charles H. Milton. Our game here produced by Ed Gorin and directed by Bob Daly. And thanks to everyone that had a part in difficult circumstances with the cold and snow to bring this to you. 3rd and 7, and Lomax looking for a receiver. And he's down. I don't believe he got out of bounds, and now they say he fumbled. Philadelphia recovers. Greg Brown made the hit, and so Philadelphia will have one last chance, and Ken Clark, the nose tackle, makes the recovery. The LA Rams have defeated the New Orleans Saints. So they're going to be a little unhappy at Bourbon Street tonight. The Saints are out of it, and the Rams are still alive.
And the Rams need either San Francisco, Detroit, or Green Bay to lose to get in the playoff.
28 seconds remain. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. And they still have a shot to get on the board here. Jaworski dumps it off, incomplete. No penalty flags down, but also the 12th sack of the game. We also want to thank a couple of other people. Marty Aronoff, who has been our right-hand man up in the booth all season long, and Gary Len, who has done a terrific job with our statistics today. Our thanks to them. 22 seconds remain. So the Los Angeles Rams now make the San Francisco-Dallas game significant, because the 49ers must beat the Cowboys to win the NFC West title. If not, the Rams would, by virtue of a better record in the division. If Green Bay or Detroit lose, the Rams will also be a wild card team. So that's a big win for John Robinson's club. 2nd down and 10. Jaworski swings it out to Michael Haddix. Haddix at the 25, dives to the 21-yard line, where E.J. Jr. makes the stop. And the clock stops too with 13 seconds as the Eagles call a timeout. They've got one left. So it'll be not the New Orleans Saints against Dallas a week from tomorrow in the NFC wildcard game. We're not sure who it'll be against Dallas.
That's right. It could be a rematch of tomorrow night. It could be the 49ers in Dallas 2 weeks in a row. A lot to happen yet. But you know, we'll get all that updated when this ball game is over.
know, you were talking about the Cardinals continuing to put the ball in the air when all they had to do is run it out. It'd be ironic if the Cardinals' decision to pass in the last minute might cost them a shutout here.
Oh, it's this reach down and tough out time right now for both of these teams. They'd rather be in the locker room getting this one over with. The outcome is certainly not in doubt, but there's still a little bit of integrity and stuff left on the line out there. They'd like to avoid a shutout, and the Cardinals would like to get one.
We have seen a lot of integrity today. 3rd down and 2. 13 seconds remain. 31-0. The Cardinals lead it. Jaworski is going for Woodruff, and it was almost intercepted. And Lionel Washington almost picked off his 3rd pass of the game. 4th down, and there are 7 seconds remaining. We want to remind you again that the scoring wrap-up with highlights with Brennan Irv will be coming your way next. And a live guest, Howard Schnellenberger in New York. It's 4th down, 7 seconds to go. And this could be the last play of the game in the season. Perhaps certainly on offense for Philadelphia. Mike Quick has it, and he is in for the touchdown. And so the Philadelphia Eagles break the shutout as the clock has run down. No time shows. It is 31-6, and they will try the conversion here. So the St. Louis Cardinals, who decided not to run out the clock and to keep the ball in the air and keep it alive passing, saw it backfired on them, and the Philadelphia Eagles avoid the shutout as Ron Jaworski hits Mike Quick with a touchdown pass on the final play of the game, and for Mike Quick, his 13th touchdown reception of the year.
And that ties Tommy McDonald's club record at 13.
McDonald in 1960, when the Eagles won a world title, and in 61 had 13 touchdown receptions. 20-yard pass, and Tony Franklin's conversion is good, and the ball game is over, and the final score is 31-7. The Cardinals win it. And a kind of a bittersweet finish to this game for the fans and for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, maybe the Cardinals, as you look at Dan Dierdorf, who's walking off this field, and then perhaps look around at a few things, as it's going to be the last time he's going to come off Busch Stadium turf wearing that red number 72. A great career ends here today. And we saw the start of some other ones, of Mike Quicks and Roy Greens, that are going to be around this league a long, long time. Randy Logan over to say hello. Looks like Dan Pastorini there in the stocking hat on to come over and say hi to Dan Dierdorf and give him his best.
Well, this is the time you want to say your goodbyes, and of course we saw Carl Hairston before, and you know Dan Dierdorf is retiring, but so is Stan Walters, as you mentioned earlier, the left tackle, the veteran who has played 12 years, first with Cincinnati and then Philadelphia. Final score 31-7. We'll be back here in St. Louis.